Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Isaac,
And this is your boy Bryce.
and we are brothers on tennis. And folks, happy new year. We made it. 2024, Bryce. Come on, get a hand clap, folks. We made it. Another 10-year tennis year is upon us. Bryce, man, was it nice having that break, though?
Like I told you, I normally don't take much of a break, but for any of y'all that sent like DMs and stuff over the last couple of weeks, I apologize. I ain't see them, or I'm just now seeing them.
Right? Hey, y'all, we
Right.
had to take us a break because, like I said, it was a long tennis year. We have been going for 4+ years at this point, and yeah, we the brothers needed a little mini break, so we took that. And now, guess what? We feel good.
And it's good to be back. Sometimes for you to really like something, you have to miss it. And tennis being one of those sports that's basically a year-round sport. When you get that little bit of a break, you're like, oh, okay. I wasn't, and I'll be real honest with you with something. The very first couple of matches that came on, like at the end of the year going into Australia, I wasn't even really into them. I was like, it wasn't until they were talking about Nadal and Osaka and them coming back. I said, okay, it's time
Exactly.
to lock in now. It's
Now we
time to
can
lock
engage. Now we
Right.
can lock in. Exactly, brother man. But brother, you know what time it is. We do this every year. We bring it to the folks. It's all about the BOT Awards, y'all. Hey, exciting, bro.
Absolutely. And for those of you who have not listened to one of our episodes or viewed one of our episodes of the BOT Awards, we have our own awards that we created that we give both to an ATP player or a WTA player. And we have 6 categories. The first category is the very common Player of the Year award. The second one is the Newcomer of the Year. Now, newcomer, we may name someone and you say, well, they're not new. I've seen them for the last couple of years or whatever. When we say newcomer, we're saying, okay, this is the year that they really introduced themselves to the tour and basically did something.
Right.
Our third category is the breakout performance. So, who really had a performance that broke out for them this year? We also have the upset of the year. So, who won that match that no one expected them to win? We have one of our favorites, which is the No You Didn't award, and it is given to somebody that did something that they probably should not have done, or something that we never expected to see. And then the final one, which is probably our favorite one, is the Mr. and Mrs. Petty Award. And obviously, you have to do something rather sketchy to be up for this award. So, Isaac, we're not going to beat around the bush. We're going to go ahead and we're going to jump on in. And why don't you get us started with the Player of the Year?
All right, Bryce. And great explanation. Always good to let the folks know what our awards are about. Y'all, I mean, honestly, for the player of the year, it's kind of straightforward. We went with the two number one players in the world, which is Novak Djokovic and Iga Swiatek. Novak, of course, he did the thing. He won 3 Grand Slams. I mean, just and was like, hey, I'm still here. I ain't going nowhere. Roger may have retired. Rafa may be, dealing with his injury, but guess what? I'm still here and I'm still representing for the big three. Don't get it twisted. And he got out there, Bryce, and he did his thing, man. He, as much as we love Carlos Alcaraz and we love Sinner and all of these new players that are trying to really scratch their way to, to the top of the game and get those Grand Slams, Novak is just basically saying, not quite yet.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and, for Player of the Year, if you've won 3 of the 4 majors, I mean, you've done it. I mean, there's nothing else to be said.
Exactly.
And you made it to the finals of the one that you didn't win.
Right, exactly. The one that everybody thought you were going to win. You
We're gonna
know?
talk about that later.
Yes, we are. And on the other side, Bryce, of course, it was a little bit more difficult. You and I, of course, talked about this because, of course, Sabalenka had a incredible year. Started off the year, wrecking shop, doing her thing. Of course, Coco got in her mix in the middle of the year and did her thing. But over and above, I mean, you just can't deny Iga Swiatek. She had some bumps. She had some, a little something here and there. But bruh, she always kept the bakery open, and she was like, I'm doing this, and I'm gonna snatch this number one before we get out of 2023. And that's exactly what she did.
It is, because by all rights, Sabalenka should have ended the year number one, but you got to close. You got to finish. And like you said, Coco snuck in there and stole the summer. And that gave Iga a little time to get her head right. And she came back and closed the year like a number one player does.
Yes, she did.
She definitely deserved it.
Absolutely, brother. So for us, player of the year, our the number ones, Novak Djokovic and Iga Swiatek. Now, Bryce, we're coming into our next category, newcomer of the year. Pass it to you, brother. Who we got?
Right. Well, this one, and it's funny because when Isaac and I come up with the winners of these different awards, we don't do it together. I do my list, he does his list, and then we kind of come together and we discuss. And it's so funny because 90% of this, we picked the same people, and maybe it was just that obvious, or maybe we just think that much alike. But here was another example where we both picked the exact same people. And for the men, we totally agreed that newcomer of the year was Ben Shelton. I mean, he brought a level of excitement to the game, a whole new personality in there. He got big wins. He got big results. He maybe wasn't consistent all year long, but when you end the year basically in the top 20 after your first full year on tour, you're doing the daggone thing. So shout out to Ben Shelton for our newcomer of the year.
Absolutely, brother. It was so justified. I mean, Benny has done some great things. We got the pleasure of meeting up with him at the UTS event in Carson, and just a very likable young man. And like I said, he's doing the thing, y'all. So if you ain't on board, get on board. And honestly, honorable mention that Bryce and I both talked about. This is another young man that cannot be denied. We talked about Ben Shelton. He actually played Ben Shelton at the the Labor Cup. And that is Arthur Feast. Do not sleep on Arthur Feast. He was a very close runner-up as it relates to newcomer of the year, because Arthur Feast had an outstanding year.
He absolutely did. And we've been talking to you guys about Arthur Feast for a while, before it was popular to be talking about Arthur Feast. So you know how we do.
Come on now.
All right. So let's get to the WTA winner of the newcomer of the year. And this is someone who maybe slipped past some people's radar, but clearly she didn't slip past mine nor Isaac's. And that is, we call her Queenie, but her name is Zhang Qinwen. And all I'm going to say is, for a name that you might not know very well, but is ranked number 13 in the world, she did the daggone thing. And one of the interesting things about her that she's probably most well known for this year is that her coach, who was Osaka's coach, basically just dropped her, left her when Osaka said, okay, I'm ready to come back. I mean, there's a lot of people going to say, we understand, but I think that just motivated her even more and allowed her to finish this year strong. I mean, what do you think, Isaac?
No, you called it, bro. You called it. I think that she took that, it was a chip. She put a chip on her shoulder, like, how dare you leave me? I mean, it's Naomi now. So I'm sorry. It's Naomi. He did the right thing. But still, from her perspective, that's a slight. And, she's put a chip on her shoulder, and she is playing some lights out tennis. I have always thought that Queenie has got a really great game. I've seen her play live. We saw her actually play against Venus Williams over in Cincinnati. I mean, Queenie got game, y'all. Do not get it twisted. And quietly, with the change up that's happened in Coco's camp, Parariba is now a part of Queenie's camp. So don't sleep on Para, because Para is a good coach. He didn't, he was in the box when Coco won that Grand Slam. So Para's going to bring some great things to her team as well. So watch out, y'all. Queenie going to do some things in 2024. Absolutely.
I totally agree. So Isaac, let's talk to people through the breakout performances for 2023.
Ooh, breakout performance. It makes me happy because we've been on this brother's tip for a minute. We're going to start on the ATP side. And how can you not say that the breakout performance was not Chris Eubanks? I mean, Big Banks showed up and showed out. He got up on the hard court and just said, you know what? I think I figured this out. I think I know how I need to play. And Bryce just did some of the most smart, intelligent things in regards to, again, how he treated the clay court season, deciding, again, I'm not going to get out there and get beat up on the clay. I've got momentum right now. I'm going to use that as a training block. Yeah, I'll play the French, but he went right to grass. And what'd he do? Showed out at Wimbledon. Showed out. And I mean, if it wasn't for a very, I don't know what you want to call Medvedev, but Medvedev is just Medvedev. It took Medvedev 5 sets just to get this brother off the grass. Chris Eubanks did the dang thing, y'all. And Bryce, talk to me. What are your thoughts on Big Banks and his performance?
And don't forget that title at Mallorca.
That's right, against Manarino, right?
Right. So he, and it's always such a feel-good story when you have someone who is so beloved on tour. I mean, everybody loves Chris, the commentators, the players, the fans. And I mean, you always kind of wished greater success for him. But, for him to finally achieve it in a kind of a later stage in his career, he seems to be just a very grounded, well-rounded person, and just everybody's happy for his success. And everybody's going to be keeping a good eye out on him this year to see if he's able to build on those results from last year. I heard he said he wanted to get a 500 level title this year. So, do your best Mary impression and go out there and get it,
Get your blessing.
Right.
Get your blessing. That's right. I love that, Bryce. Exactly. And Eubanks, he can do it. He absolutely can do it. The other breakout performance, I mean, come on, folks. We keeping it in the family. You know who it is. It's Coco Gauff. I mean, that run that she put together to get the U.S. Open title, I mean, just all the tournaments leading up to it. I mean, just some outstanding achievements and wins. She got a win over Iga finally in that run up to the U.S. Open. Her kryptonite, if you will. Just so many wonderful things that she did during that run, and just confidence built and built and built. She turned into that 3-set master. Remember when Serena was doing her whole 3 sets, but she was winning every match? That's what Coco did. Coco got to a 3rd set and she was just like, or she lost the 1st set. She was like, don't worry. I got this. Don't, Mertens beat me down that 1st set, but that's all right. I got this. And what she did, she came back and worked it out, Bryce. So again, breakout performance, Coco Gauff. What are your thoughts, brother?
And let's break it down a little bit, because I think before that summer, she had only won 250s. So she got the 500 level win there in DC. Then she went right next to Cincinnati and got a 1,000 level win. And then she went right from there to US Open and got a Grand Slam title. So if that ain't a breakout performance, that's like swing out sister breakout, I mean, she did the daggone thing. So very, very proud of her. And, having reached as high as number 3 in singles, number 1 in doubles this year, we just want to see more of it in 2024.
Absolutely, man. Coco Gauff, we are so proud of you, and just keep on doing your thing. And we already started off the new year with a title.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
So let's keep it going and let's hit upset of the year. Now, this is very interesting because we selected upsets that happened in the same round at the same tournament. And if you ain't picked up on that already from a comment that we made earlier in this show, the Wimbledon finals. When you looked at the four finalists, when you looked at Alcaraz and Djokovic, Vondrousova, and Jabeur, 90 to 95% of the people were like, Djokovic and Jabeur are going to win those two titles. Nope. Alcaraz secured his second Grand Slam title, proved to everyone that he could play on grass and that he could also beat who basically everyone had anointed as the best grass court player out there, especially with Federer being gone. Huge victory for him. I actually think it took a lot out of him when you end up looking at the rest of the year. But one thing they always say, once you bag the title, they can never take it away from you. And it's always sweeter, especially on the men's side, when you win it over a member of the big three.
Absolutely.
So shout out to Alcaraz for that win. On the women's side, Vondrousova, I thought she was lost out on that ship with Tracy Chapman and Terrence Trent D'Arby, and I didn't know where she had gone, but she came back and she showed up and showed out. It wasn't her first major final. She had lost that French Open final or Roland Garros final for you purists to Ash Barty. And I guess she said she wasn't gonna lose this one to the Brooke Ash Barty. So she got a hold of Jabeur and shook her till she couldn't shake no more. And it was done. Brooke Jabeur spirit for the rest of the year.
Yeah, but the one thing that I will continue to say, Bryce, about that particular one, though, is if you saw that murder's row of who she beat to get to that final, let us not forget, she took out some beasts. You hear me, y'all? Beasts. And when she got up in that final, I just feel like she was spent mentally. She was overwhelmed because she was the absolute favorite. And she just couldn't get past those two things. And I felt so bad for Jabeur. But, again, that's sport. I mean, you can't control, a lot. I mean, it takes me back to that one U.S. Open where you had Raducanu against Leylah Fernandez. Leylah worked some folks out to get to that final. And she got there and Raducanu was like, hey, sorry, sis. It's mine. So, what I will say is kudos for Vondrousova for stepping up and taking an opportunity, because that's exactly what that was. And she went in there and she took it. She was just like, hey, this is mine. And on the flip side with the Alcaraz and Djokovic, again, like you said, for anyone to be able to earn their Grand Slam against a big three member is just absolutely incredible. And the fact that, again, it was on grass, which he came into the whole grass court season not even really knowing how to play on grass, to be able to get yourself right, to make it to a Grand Slam final and to beat a Novak Djokovic, you can't tell me that ain't upset of the year. Come on now. Don't trip. Don't get it twisted.
And a lot of people acknowledge that win probably stopped Djokovic from winning a calendar slam.
I absolutely believe so. Yeah. I mean, 3 and the final. Yeah, Novak was doing the thing. So again, that's why he earned Player of the Year. But again, that's why Alcaraz earned the upset of the year, because he had to do big things in order to take that back. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
All right. So Bryce, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's time to get to the fun awards now. Those were our serious and, accomplishment type of awards. Now, for y'all players that wanted to act fool, you know, here are your awards. So for this very next one, the one that we call the No You Didn't Award, we had to award these to two couples. And I'm going to give you the couple that I nominated, and I'm going to let Isaac give you the couple he nominated, but they're both getting the award. My couple that I nominated for the No You Didn't was Stefanos Tsitsipas and Paula Badosa, or better known as Cici Dosa, as they created their own Instagram page and created this couple's name. And I guess they thought people were going to be interested. Didn't know. I mean, that really backfired on them. People were like, this is very cringeworthy, and we are not feeling this. You know, Tsitsipas, well, and Badosa, weren't you just begging some other man for an engagement ring like 5 minutes ago? You know, and now y'all all over each other, and nobody don't believe that anyway. And you know, it just was like, especially for Tsitsipas, where people were already busting on him for bathroom breaks and all that kind of stuff, it didn't help him at all because nobody believed it. And then you got Badosa, who is making desperate look desperate. I mean, whoever, and I'm sure they thought this is going to be a great marketing thing. People are going to get behind it. It's going to be, you know, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and all this. It was none of that. None of that. So I'm going to give them the big No You Didn't award because they came up with a dumb idea that didn't work.
Well, there you go. And folks, the No You Didn't, it swings a lot of different ways. So Bryce gave you the traditional No You Didn't, right? I decided that I was going to slant it a little bit because I was going to be like, no, you didn't. Like, okay, what? And because of that, who I nominated for the No You Didn't award is simply Jim's life. That is Gael Monfils and Elena Svitolina Monfils. No, you didn't just come out after having a baby and was like, ladies, I'm here. And guess what? I got a forehand that you don't want to touch it. You don't want to touch that forehand. She's like, I've been lifting baby Sky, and my arm is good, and I'm gonna put that forehand on you. And Elena Svitolina got out there and showed out, and it was like came back, won a title, made some deep runs. I was like, girl, no, you didn't. And then here come Gael at the end of the year, like, wait. Don't forget about me. Don't forget. I was taking care of baby Sky while Svitolina was doing her thing. Now I'm about to do my thing. And come at the end of the year, and he gonna up and just, how you just gonna win a tournament, Bryce? At 37, how you just gonna come back on the men's tour and take an ATP tournament? Well, guess what? That's what Gael Monfils did. Because he was like, you know what? I got to represent for my baby Sky as well. So all in all, folks, I give that. No, you didn't. You better come on and do what you do. That's the No You Didn't that I give to Jim's life, Elena Svitolina and Gael Monfils. Good on y'all.
Two sides of the same coin. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Yes, sir.
So, for our final award, at least my personal favorite one, the Mr. and Mrs. Petty Award. So, Isaac, why don't you take this first one?
Oh, come on. If y'all don't know, shame on you, because you should know, because it was obvious. And again, I think he's won this category before, and it's unfortunate. Why? Because he's the greatest player of all time, and that's Novak Djokovic, as it relates to the stats. Okay, we're not going to get into that argument. But stat-wise, Novak Djokovic has defined himself as the greatest player in tennis. At the U.S. Open, y'all, I don't know if y'all remember this. He's playing a Ben Shelton. of the year. Gonna play Ben. Ben's got this little thing when he gets done with his matches, he gets on the phone. He's calling somebody. Hang it up. So what does Djokovic do? He mocks him after beating him, does his signature, and hangs the phone up. Now, y'all, this is a young man that's been on the tour for 1 year. He's happy. He's excited. He's just trying to, do his thing and be happy. He's been on the Florida Gators tennis team. That's what they do. And when you're in the year for the first year, you won't want to show out and pound your chest a little bit. When you've been on the tour for as long as Djokovic has been on the tour, and you are considered to be a part of the great or the big three and the GOAT, you don't do that. You don't need to do that. All you need to do is be like, young man, good job. Pat you on the head. Good job for getting in there and fighting. But you ain't got to mock my boy's celebration. To me, that is ultimate petty. You don't need to do that. You're bigger than that. Let him have his time, and you do you. And Bryce, I'll pass it to you for comment.
I totally agree with you. And one of the things that Isaac and I know is the post that we did on that action or reaction, if you will, is our most viewed post in the 4 years we've been doing Brothers on Tennis. I don't even remember what the final number got up to. It was some insane hundreds of thousands of numbers. We didn't make 1 million, but it was a lot. That just shows you how many people tied into that. But I also want to add, although we did say that Djokovic won the award there, we did have an honorable mention, and we won't spend a lot of time on it, but we did want to let you know we gave serious consideration to giving this award to Felix Auger-Aliassime, FAA, for the milk chocolate on black crime that was attempted at the Laver Cup. We're going to just leave it right there. We're not going to get all into it, but let's just say it got serious consideration for it.
It did, y'all. It really did.
Yeah.
Come on now. We don't like black on black crime. We don't like it, but and when you do stuff like that, you go and figure that out now.
Yeah. So we're going to leave that alone. And now we're going to move to who on the WTA gets the Miss Petty Award. And, last summer in July, everybody's all hyped, Hall of Fame time. Everybody with a major, come on, get in. We ended up hearing about another story that was going on in Hungary on clay. A lady I'd never heard of before because she was basically ranked outside the top 500. No shade. Somebody got to be there. Her name was Amarissa Toth. And she was playing Zhang Shui. And Zhang Shui hit a shot that hit the line, but the sideline judge called it out. The chair umpire called it out. Zhang Shui argued her point. They weren't hearing her. They moved to the next point, and she told Toth, leave the mark there, because I guess she was going to prove her point. And Toth was like, shoot, you made that shot, but we're not going to let that live. So she walked over and she erased the mark. It affected Zhang Shui so much, Gurley almost had a nervous breakdown on the side and had to retire.
Yeah.
And Toth got the heat from the other players on the tour. They were like, that is the worst show of sportsmanship we've ever seen. I mean, how deliberate to go over and to erase the mark. Like, I'm not going to even give you a chance to prove your point. Now, to toss credit, if you will, she did apologize later, but the damage was done. She broke old girl's spirit and made her retire. So for that, Marissa, you gotta get the Miss Petty Award. Isaac, any thoughts on that?
2023 girl, go on ahead, take it, because Bryce, simply put, when a player is having an argument about a call, in my opinion, the other player needs to just leave that alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. If they want to argue and she want to prove a point, because that's not what you're out there for. That's not your battle. Your battle is to play tennis. That's all it is. Line calls and stuff like that, leave that to the other player and the umpire. Go about your business. So the fact that she inserted herself into that and rubbed the mark out, showing absolute disregard to, old girl, just again, folks, that's just it's something you don't do that. You don't wipe out a mark, simply put. And for her to do that, like I said, sis, that's your award. You put it on a mantle and you put a light over it because you earned it.
And that's bad karma too. So she may not crack the top 300 ever.
I know, right?
That karma's bad.
That karma don't play, Bryce. Karma don't play. Just saying.
So everyone, those are our BET. Whoa, what am I trying to promote here? That is our BOT awards for 2023. Hey, if you agree or if you disagree, comment below and let us know your thoughts. Isaac, any final words as we wrap up the 2023 year heading into 2024?
Nah, brother, just had a wonderful 2023, and I'm so looking forward to what is to come in this new year. How about yourself?
The same, the absolute same. And I'm just going to congratulate once again our winners. I will be tagging you on this post so that you know what you want. So family, everyone be good. We're happy to be back. We look forward to bringing you a lot of good content this year. Stay tuned, stay invested in us, and much love. On behalf of the podcast, this has been your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. Everyone be well.